What would you say through the 4-week winning streak? It's a lot of positives because you can point at a lot of positives. What is the weak link of this team through a 4-game winning streak?
For me, it's, I would answer that by thinking like, okay, so next year in the draft, what's the first thing I'm targeting? It's still defensive line pressure. I know this defense has been opportunistic. We've been getting turnovers. I know some of those turnovers have come from sack fumbles. Andrew Billings did a good job. And like these guys are on it. They're getting on top of it. Yet we're still in situations where we're kind of handcuffed to bring in pressure from the secondary and find ways to get creative to put pressure on the quarterback because we just don't have it up front in those four guys. So specifically defensive end, it might get a little better with Austin Booker when he comes back, if and when. But I mean, it's a 5th-round pick, right? So the expectations are only so high. You're getting jack out of Dial, like nothing. That guy, you're better off keeping Yannick Ngakoue at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I thought he was going to be, kind of like the shell of a guy who maybe gets like these selfish sacks that help him just get paid. It's not even that. Like, he's just missing altogether. So, that would be the place I think I would have the most criticism about, if that answers your question.
Okay. I'm going to be consistent here. I think your weakest individual area is your quarterback. We have gone full circle in 4 wins where the defense plays outstanding. You have a running game. And the one aspect of your team that's not really kind of pulling its weight is a quarterback position. I think I'm still being patient with it. I'll put it this way. I was watching these last 4 wins, and they're close and they're gutsy. I don't think Commanders is not an issue. The Cowboys are not exactly a game that I don't know how to reference that in hindsight, because that just seemed like a perfectly planned game and whatnot. But especially last week, against the Saints, I look back and I think the Saints have a sneaky underrated secondary and play with the quarterback really well, because I looked at every single game the Saints played this year. I don't think even Josh Allen had shockingly similar stats to Caleb Williams. It was like 60% throwing. It was somewhere in the range of like 2 touchdowns, 1 interception kind of thing. I think the Saints are sneaky good. The best game that a quarterback has had against the Saints this year was last week against Drake May, or 2 weeks prior. And so my point is the defense is going to naturally regress, and the defense has carried you through the last 4 games. The running game is going to have some off games. You cannot get what you are getting from Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson the last 4 games and expect to beat teams like the Ravens this week. I don't think that what you are getting from your quarterback, it is by definition enough right now because you're winning and it's managing to supplement the areas of your team that are doing well. I don't think it is sustainable. Like in my head, the blueprint against the Ravens to win, the Ravens are having a kitchen sink game and they're going to throw everything they've got at you. So Lamar is going to be playing. I think the defense is going to play better. If they attack things the way that they're going to attack things, the Bears have done well. Unless the Bears are still able to run it down teams' throats without teams being able to do anything about it, fine. But I expect more out of my first overall pick and I looked at Caleb's season stats this year. He basically just hovers around 200 yards, a touchdown, and a pick per game. That is not what I can't say that is something I'm okay with from a first overall pick.
I definitely want to comment on this. I'm hearing a bit of crackling pretty consistently, though. I don't know if you want to maybe leave and come back or unplug your mic and plug it back in. I thought it was on me, but maybe not. We're having technical issues tonight again. So, okay. So the one thing that I think definitely needs to change is it's nothing to do with the stats. Because, like, I can show you Jalen Hurts' stats from last year, and it doesn't matter. They won the Super Bowl, right? So to me, it's not anything with that. What it is all situational, and the situation is complementing your defense. Those turnovers are not going to continue at this rate. They'll still get some here and there. When they get some, you need to score. You can't sit there and have 3 turnovers and a half and still be down. Or you know what I mean? You just or sit there and come away with a field goal or 2 off 3 turnovers. It just doesn't cut it. So those are the moments where this offense needs to step up and really kind of, make a point swing in the game and really affect the game. And I don't think the weakest spot is the quarterback per se, just because I even feel good with the backup being Bajan. So, like, to me, if Caleb was, and I thought about this too, I think we don't give Caleb enough credit for his toughness. Nobody talks about it because this whole narrative about him painting the nails exists and blah, 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 and this and that. Dude, this kid he was sacked 68 times last year, David. Didn't miss a snap. Has he missed a snap this year? Like, that's some shit. I notice it. I appreciate it from any quarterback that starts for me.
I don't know how the crackling is, but like,
much better.
I agree with you. I think Caleb is also very, very malleable. He's quick to change and update and upgrade with what the situation that he's dealt with. Like, I think that's something even last year we gave him credit for. Like, he had 3 coordinators basically in one season. He was able to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Like, I don't hate on Caleb Williams, but I don't think what he's doing right now is good enough. To your point, like, if you're saying he's complimentary football, I would say it's the opposite. Complimentary football is what is, if you have 3 turnovers, you should win games by 10 to 15 points. And these
I'm saying that's what needs to improve.
That's what I mean. So, but when the complementary football of the aspect of complementary football ends, which it is inevitably going to, is he just going to step up his game, or is this now just uncomplimentary football? The thing I'm talking about is, like, there are times when I'm watching Caleb Williams where it's just not on time, dude. It's just not on time. It's not on rhythm. It's clearly not what Ben Johnson's plan is going into that week. And Caleb Williams makes a spectacular play. Sometimes it does. And I felt this week in particular, it just felt so like the drug that was Justin Fields. If we want to go back a step, remember when we talked about that drug where it's like, well, it's not a good looking quarterback play, but the good plays that he does with his legs or does something special or whatever, it kind of just distracts you. Look over there while you don't look over here. And so those spectacular plays by Caleb Williams where he's scrambling, and he just throws like a 20-yard laser beam and he hits the sideline. Like, those are fun. Those are cool. Those are awesome to watch. And you're like, wow, no one else in the world could do that but Caleb Williams. And I agree. Those are awesome. Just the same way that there's not been a running quarterback like Justin Fields since, like, Michael Vick. But if we're talking about complimentary football, I guarantee Ben Johnson wants to dink and dunk right now. I guarantee he's trying to get these 4, 7, 8, 5, 7 yard, like, all these plays from his quarterback that he's just not getting right now, because Caleb Williams hovers around 60% completion, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. Like, I don't know if we have a quarterback on the roster that fits what Ben Johnson's doing. And even during the broadcast, they mentioned something about how Ben Johnson said, it's refreshing to work with a young quarterback because it challenged me. It made me go back, and because he's like, I maxed out what Jared Goff could do. Well, Jared Goff's a fucking MVP candidate, like, year in and year out lately. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and it's not even debatable. So it's like, yeah, you maxed him out, but he wasn't like a bum when you got him. So I don't really know. It's kind of distracting you from, I think, how bad Caleb is running. Caleb Williams is not running Ben Johnson's offense the way he wants it, but he's making enough spectacular plays to cover up all of his own inadequacies or mistakes. And the shoe will drop really fucking hard when the shoe drops. So if you go into the Ravens game, and my thought process is the Ravens, if they stop the run game in any way, shape, or form, or don't turn the ball over, the only script that you have to win that game against the Ravens is Caleb Williams needs to have his first 350-yard, 4-touchdown performance, 350-yard, 3-touchdown performance. And at this point, I keep waiting for it against worse teams. It's not going to happen against the best teams. Why the fuck would it happen against the best teams if he can't do it against the bad teams? So I just don't know what to think. And I'm getting exhausted by waiting.
So, okay, I'll address this like this. First of all, Brian Watson, always welcome to come on with us too. Brian's a Packers fan, by the way. So screw him right now. But little too early to tell. Still inconsistent. I definitely think that's correct. So I think there's been ups and downs, but I think ups and downs were expected. And I think this last game against the Saints was a down, right? Like no touchdowns, 1 interception. And that's okay if that's the bad game he has, right? Like he didn't completely implode like Spencer Rattler did, by the way, against this defense. But yeah, so I think at his worst so far this year, it hasn't been terrible. I think Ben Johnson's offense is not an easy offense by any means. I've heard some talk, and I mean, I don't have sources or anything or this and that, but one of the radio guys was saying that he has sources of a guy that's inside that was saying that Caleb gets it. Like he's at understanding the offense much faster than they expected him to. And I think you can see some of that stuff in the pre-snap adjustments, in the pre-snap motions and everything like that. And so there's a lot going on here. Now, has made mistakes? Yes. Right. But he even talked about, like, even after this game, he was like, man, I should have ran 1 or 2 of those opportunities instead of trying to scramble out the sideline and just get a throw off or whatever, which, by the way, I don't mind that so much because it hasn't killed you at all. Like he hasn't done that and thrown a pick really. Right. So if he's quick enough to just scramble away from pressure, scramble away to the sideline, try and create an opportunity, and skilled enough to be able to throw that ball, it's been okay. That's much better than getting sacked. Once it's a broken play, it's a broken play, right? So when it comes to the plays that aren't that necessarily, I think he does attempt to run the offense. There's still hiccups. There's still ups and downs. This isn't at a point by any means. I think he's bought himself enough now of a leash to where even if that shoe does drop a little bit, I think you're pretty much kind of going into it with Caleb Williams at this point. And you're going to ride this season out. And so, David, you're muted. I know you're talking back, but you're muted. Go ahead.
That is beside the point. That's so on the left side of that point. Absolutely, okay. Obviously, he has earned and played just well enough to ride this thing out and to prove that he's not the guy or whatever this metric you have. He is absolutely one.
There's been steps forward pretty consistently.
Yes. I thought his Washington game was by far his most complete game of the season. And now looking back on it, he had 15 days to prepare. I don't think that Caleb Williams is bad as a quarterback when he gets time to prepare. I think he is a little bit slow to this. So it is a little bit, again, a lot of it is the work in progress, right? I just think if we're being brutally honest about where this team's at, like the title you put on this video, are they a good team? They're not a bad team. I wouldn't put them in the good team category yet. Right?
Yeah, I think we crawled out of the bad team category.
I don't think you're
I think we just crawled out of it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, the same way you're not calling Washington a bad team. They're not great. They're not like super good this year, but they're not bad.
Was in a NFC Championship last year, though. So you still have
this year I'm talking about. But like, you know what I mean? Like Minnesota, you're tied with Minnesota in terms of record for the season, but you're not calling Minnesota a bad team. big differences, right?
What do you
But
think
you're
of
also
what do you think of what King Booker says here? Because he always makes great points. Not too many
yeah.
QBs are throwing 300 plus because of this damn kickoff rule. He had his first below 200-yard game. Bad games are going to happen. This ain't the last one. I'm actually curious to see overall yardage at the end of the year and kind of compare it to other years. But do you think
I
that's
think
a
I
factor?
kind of acknowledge it is because I acknowledged it too. I think the Saints have an underrated secondary, and any quarterback that's played them this year hovers around almost exactly the same stat line Caleb Williams had this game, right? Like Jackson Dart played against the Saints. He had like 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Josh Allen played him. He was like 212, a touchdown and a pick. So it could be an anomaly, right? It could be that like the Saints are a little bit better than we think they are. It could be that Caleb Williams, this is one of those things that I thought about after we predicted the game. They were playing the Saints on 6 days, not 7. They were playing them on 6 days. They played Monday Night Football the week before. This is them beating the shit out of the Saints on a short week. So a lot of things can factor into these conversations. The same way I said Washington was their most complete game. I thought it was bullshit that they didn't win by 10 in Washington. All of these things go week to week in the NFL right now, especially with how fluctuating it is, right? People thought the Philadelphia Eagles were dead in the water, and then 2 games in a row, they're like, nope, they're fucking back. Buffalo was an absolute Super Bowl wagon. They were no way they were going to lose. And then they lost 2 in a row. So everything is week to week. But out of your first overall pick, man, it's so hard.
No, I hear you. I hear the expectations. He's still
No.
coming short of expectations. I hear you in a sense.
No, it's not that he's coming short of expectations. He's right on the line of expectations. Maybe I would have expected him to exceed a little bit of expectations, right? Well, Drake May right now is a top 5 MVP candidate, so that's kind of a whole separate issue.
Yeah, he broke a record that, dude, to take anything away from Brady, 90% completion is incredible.
Yeah, he threw for 222. That's why I'm saying to King Buka, like even he didn't have an amazing game against Saints. He just had like a really efficient game. He's right on track with where I think people kind of expected it to be. I'd like him to have. There hasn't been to me other than the Dallas game, because even the Dallas game, I don't look back on and go like, man, Caleb Williams put it all together. And he had, like, there was a lot of missed opportunities in the Dallas game, and that's what we
going to be in
about.
every game. But so the difference for me, David, like you mentioned Justin Fields. Well, the difference with that was all the flash came early, come late in games, come clutch moments, you fuck it up. With Caleb, we have something different. Come late in games, come clutch moments, he comes through. The team has fucked it up, and now this year the team's not fucking it up. But I still see that like killer in him at the end of the game, and I think that's huge. So it's just like, dude, we're the same record we were last year, 4-2. I feel completely different about this team than I did about last year's. 100%.
I agree. But again, I think that's as a whole team. I think this team is learning something about itself in terms of how to win, how to play well under like clutch pressure moments. I just don't know if right now, if you're going to tell me that Caleb Williams is exactly dead center down the middle, where is he helping this team win games, or is he holding the team back from winning games more efficiently? I'd say he's right in the middle. He's a 5 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10. He's not helping the team win like these games, I think, by being especially great in any way, shape, or form. Nothing about his game right now is above a 6 out of 10. Like, if you had to give him a grade for the season, he's getting a C+. He's passing. He's passing a little bit above expectation, but it's nothing special. I would like him to be at a B right now, and at some point soon. And that's kind of the thing. We're TikTok. We're getting to the point of the season where people said he needs a little bit of time to understand, get the offense under his belt, understand shit a little bit better. We're in week 8. It's the Ravens game. And this is a team that's about to fucking come in desperate as fuck. Or you're going to go to Baltimore desperate as fuck. And you want to continue this win streak, keep building this momentum. Let's say the running game has a little bit of a hiccup, right? You're relying on them so much. Let's say the defense has a little bit of a hiccup. You're relying on them so much. I want a game where you're relying on Caleb Williams. I want a game where you get to be like, you know what? Defense didn't play great. Running game was okay. Caleb fucking stepped up and just took that game for us.